All right, what's good, everybody? It's been I meant to make this video like 2 weeks ago. I got caught up with some other stuff. Last week, I did a fast, a little cleansing fast, and it just took a lot out of me because it kind of coincided with getting a little. I had like a little mucus buildup, so I just didn't have that much energy. So I was like, I'm not making a video. But today's another day, and we're gonna get busy with the videos. So last time we were talking about the negative aspects of pornography / masturbation abuse. Today we're going to talk about the opposite side. We're going to flip the polarity, the positive. What's going to happen in all likelihood when you do stop abusing, porn and abusing masturbation. There's a bunch of them. I had to write it down. To kind of collect my thoughts. I don't usually make videos, so I'm trying not to be scatterbrained, but there's a lot of connections here, so it's easy to go off on different paths. So again, we're going to be focusing on the positive aspects of what's going to happen when you finally stop, because you are going to stop. If you're watching this, then you're going to stop at some point. All right, might not be this lifetime, but down the line you're going to stop. All right, so I like to think that everything happens for a reason. You're watching this for a reason. I made this for a reason. The first thing that I wrote down. This is not necessarily any orders to what you're gonna notice, but the first thing you're gonna notice is that you have more energy. You're gonna have more energy. What does that mean? That means when you want to do something, you're gonna have that kind of get up and go, the drive to do it. All right, so how does that happen? That happens by realigning your interests and what you're giving your own energy to. Okay, remember the number one thing that we have, the true real currencies in my opinion are energy and attention. Okay, attention, money, everything like that, those are all secondhand things, but your attention is what matters. Is what matters. So if you start shifting your attention from something that's parasitic, that's just sucking your energy off of you, because that's what porn is. It's parasitic. It's not. You're not getting anything back from it. It's not giving you anything except pleasure, which you're ultimately giving to yourself through your mind, right? Is this that you never? It's never going to pay your bills. It's not going to tell you, hey, you're a great person. It's always going to take. And just like a parasite, it doesn't care about the well-being of the host. Okay, it's gonna run you ragged. A lot of these genres and stuff, the lower ones are all about taking your energy. They straight up talk about that. They straight up set it up like it's supposed to take your energy. Now, if we get to some more occult stuff with some of the symbolism and the sigils and stuff that are shown in porn, but that's later on down the line. You're gonna have more energy, and that's what I noticed. That's what I noticed, man. Because it would be hard for me. I'd be looking at porn, and then I would do it mainly at night, right? So I'd mainly be doing it at night. You're gonna be watching some sort of screen, and you're probably not gonna have a program. Flux is a pretty good program. It's like a screen dimmer to block out some of that fake sunlight that it gives off, the blue light. But that stuff is sapping your energy. You're not sleeping, okay? You're not taking care of yourself. You can have more energy, and you're just going to be saving your innate regenerative abilities. By holding on to your semen, by holding on to your bodily fluids, you can get to a point where you can harness that. So it's not just sitting idle down there in the bowels, talking the bowel. It's, you can harness that to shoot it up through yourself, through your spine, to fuel yourself. Okay, that's some high level shit. But right now, just know that whenever you ejaculate, your body, it ceases all functions, so this on some level, and it goes into we need to refill this fluid. We need to refill this fluid ASAP, because the DNA's primary directive is to reproduce, is to survive. How does it do that? Through replication. So the body's like, well, we need to do that. All right. So that's That's another reason why it's bad to well, not bad, but it's not, if you're trying to get into dreaming and lucid dreaming, it's not a good idea to ejaculate shortly before bed. You know, it'd probably be like 3, 4, 5 hours before you go to sleep should be the last time that you're ejaculating. And even then, you shouldn't be doing it every day, man. That's not. This is some more stuff that this goes on in the society, and they make it seem like that's a standard, but that's not what's healthy. You don't want to be You don't want to be ejaculating every day. It's just you're constantly building up. You're releasing this fluid. You don't ever have a chance to build it up. And you'll really figure that out once you want to learn into like having a kid. But that's a whole another conversation. This energy is this energy that I'm talking about with your semen and stuff. The key is that yes, you will have more energy, but what the question is, what are you going to do with it? You need to harness it into something positive, something constructive, okay, something creative. Because if not, then you're just going to go back in the same direction of looking at porn, or playing video games, or smoking weed, whatever it is that you do. You're going to go back into that. And it's like, imagine like a lightning bolt. You got like some sort of capacitor that's harnessing the energy of the lightning, and if it just keeps harnessing, at some point it's going to overload and short circuit and burst. That happens in the sense of a wet dream, or that can lead up to a relapse. So that's why you have to use that energy, and you have to guide it. It's like you're getting all this water, but eventually you're gonna have to guide it somewhere and give it a purpose. You have to diffuse it. So you're gonna have way more energy when you stop looking at porn. And all these things is not gonna happen overnight. It's a slow build-up. But at this point, I can notice it. I notice that I have more energy. I notice that I have more more will to live, to create, to contribute, to produce. We have a very consumeristic mindset, and that's not just, oh, I'm gonna go buy stuff. It's that we don't ever produce anything. Even if you're just sitting around reading and stuff while they're watching videos, you're consuming. It's time to give back. You got to give back at a certain point and start producing, start creating something. That's what I'm trying to do right now. It's rudimentary, but hey, man, you got to start somewhere. So the second thing that you're gonna notice, that we'll talk about, not necessarily you'll notice, but is the idea of willpower. Okay, you build up your willpower. Now, some people will talk as though willpower is like, you can just put your mind to it, you can overcome anything. Sure. However, you can also help yourself along the way. It's like, you can tell a crippled man, a man with one leg, is like, hey man, you can do it, you can run this 4K. It's like, yeah, he can, but he's gonna need some help, He's gonna need some help. He's gonna need like maybe a bionic leg. He's gonna need a map of how to run, some fluids to keep himself hydrated. It's like you want to boost yourself up, okay? You want to set yourself into the position of being able to propel. You got to repair yourself. You have to repair yourself. Your willpower is an infinite resource in the sense that it regenerates, but your access to it is not infinite. Now let me go in on that, because this is something I've been wrestling with for a while with myself, because I didn't like the idea that willpower wasn't something that you could just automatically tap into and just mind over matter, and I'm just gonna be, and then I say you can do whatever you want. It's not that easy, okay? You did a lot of work to get yourself in this position, and you're gonna have to do a lot of work even more so to get yourself out of this position. It's like fucking up your grades in school. It's really easy to go down. It's hard to go up, but you can. So with the willpower, let's see, another way that I imagine it is like it's a hose, okay? It's like a water hose. And what we've done over the years with this pornography addiction is kink up our water hose, okay? We kink it up so that willpower comes out at like a drip, 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 drop. This is the reason that you haven't worked on that project you've been putting off for 3 years. It's the reason that you don't have the energy or the nerve to go up and talk to that pretty girl. Instead, you're ogling and lusting at her from afar. You know, it's the reason you're not. It's the reason you're not in a better position at your job. It's a lack of willpower. It's a lack of self value. Now, how do you build that willpower up? Slowly. Practice. You practice abstaining. You practice setting small goals for yourself and accomplishing those goals. Now, one of the biggest problems with pornography is that it fucks up your dopamine system, so that things that were satisfying to you, things that would give you that feel good sense of accomplishment, they don't work anymore. That's another reason why it's so fucking devastating, because it's like, okay, so you stop looking at porn, you're a week, you're 2 weeks in, and it's like everything's just a fucking chore. If you ever seen the movie Melancholia with Kirsten Dunst, she has like these tethers, these kind of thorns that are molasses that are holding on to her. That she's just trudging along. That's how I felt. I felt like everything that I did, it was just like I was working against a wind turbine just blowing me down. You know, I would do the dishes, I wouldn't feel any satisfaction. It's a funny thing. It sounds weird, but that's one of the first things I realized. Is like after I was about 3 weeks or a month into it, I would do the dishes, and I was like, man, I feel good. I got the dishes done. I didn't I used to never care, but that's normal. You should feel good when you accomplish something. Porn takes that away from you through the dopamine, where your dopamine is normally up here. Let's say it's at 50. Porn will slowly erode it so that your equilibrium, your resting is, let's say it's like 15, when it should be at 50. Because it takes you up here when you're peaking, looking at porn, edging for hours and hours and hours. You don't go back down to 50. You take a plunge, because I gotta get the camera. You take a plunge because you've been up for so long. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, talking back about willpower, and willpower. It's one thing that really opened my eyes about it was I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and I forgot who the guest was, but he was talking about fat people who have problems. I'm talking about like fat, like obese people who have problems eating, right? And he was talking about how because I was always in the mindset, like, just go to the gym, man. Just change your diet. Don't be such a lazy piece of shit. But he was saying is that when you're using your willpower every day to turn down, you drive past Dunkin' Donuts, you get that feeling, it's like, I should go get a donut, and then you say, no, I'm not going to. Well, that's a battle. That's a battle you just fought. And although you won that battle, it used some of your willpower, all right? It used some of your willpower. So just imagine, you're big and you're doing that. You're going to the grocery store, you're going to a party, you're going to work. They have donuts in the office room every day. That's a battle that you have to use your willpower. So by the time you get home and it's time to go to the gym or it's time to do some stretches, you used up all your willpower. Your reserves are trickling in. It's just drip, drip, drip. And you don't have any willpower to get into that. It's the same thing with pornography. If you're constantly having to use your willpower to fight off these urges, and then you give in anyways, your starting pool of willpower is gonna be very, very shallow. All right, very shallow. It's like your mana pool. It's like somebody put a curse on you. Now your mana pool is depleted. You just got a little bit. Your mana pool only goes up to 5 when it should be going up to 50. These are some silly ass analogies, but once you start to go down that path, I do really want you to pay attention to your willpower. See if you feel like your reserves are increasing, because they should, and they will. Your reserves will increase, because this porn stuff is a temporary setback. It's not something that's permanent. And that's one of the things that I saw so many times, on Tumblr and all these blogs where it's just like this negative stuff. It's like, oh, you have no willpower, you're weak, you're this and you're that. And even though you may not believe that, your subconscious is picking that up. And your subconscious doesn't discriminate. Whatever you put into it, it takes. All right? It just takes it. Takes it and stores it. Yeah. So porn eats your willpower and erodes it over time. All right. Uh, and energy and willpower go hand in hand. Because you could have the energy to do something, but you're not going to have the willpower to do it. That's why, you just see people doing non-constructive things. But there's a flip side where you can have the willpower, but you don't have the energy. You want to get. These are people who have do everything. They got like 20 different things started, but none of them are finished. Willpower, no energy. These things go hand in hand. And just like porn is very complex in that it attacks you on multiple fronts, you have to bolster your defenses and attack back on multiple fronts. All right. It's not just, oh, I'm not gonna look at porn anymore, and that's it. No, you have to. Okay, you gotta stop looking at porn. What else are you doing that's fucking with your dopamine levels? Are you playing video games 4 hours a day every day? You smoking weed every day? Not doing anything productive? These things have to be attacked on multiple fronts. You need, three-pronged attack. Because that's one of the things that I found. It's like I would stop with the porn, but I was still looking at video games, and it was still taking me down that same route. It's like these things were parallel highways, where I would get into one, and then next thing I know, I would start getting into the other one. So that's when I really started to have a breakthrough, was when I was like, well, I need to cut out the video games, I need to cut out the porn, I need to take a break from smoking, because I just wasn't doing anything productive with it. Not to say that smoking weed is bad, but there's a reason a lot of these things will be like, let's get high and goon, get high and edge, because that's a feminine, that's a sexual energy. All right, it's a sexual energy, and if you don't channel that, sexual energy is creative energy. All right, and if you don't channel that, then you're going to go into those lower urges. All right, that animal brain is going to take over. That's why a lot of people say they get horny when they smoke. That's me. I got horny when I smoke. The problem is that I was pairing smoking with masturbating almost every time. To the point where when I would smoke, I would be more inclined to masturbate. So I gotta redo that, because I enjoy it. I haven't done it for a while, several months, but at some point it's going to be like, okay, now we can really tap into this and use this the way it's supposed to be used. Use it as a creative tool, not abusing it. But that's the thing with pornography. There's no utility in that. There's nothing that you go, well, I can look at porn and I can learn how to do different moves and stuff. You're kidding yourself. You're playing yourself if you're thinking that. You want to learn some stuff, man, go read the Kama Sutra, all right? Go study some of the tantric arts. You don't need to be watching this fake ass shit that they have on here, okay? There's no purpose for it. And yeah, I get it. It's a free country. People want to do what they want to do. You want to smoke crack, you want to do heroin, you want to fucking slice your wrist. That's your prerogative. But there should be warnings. People should be informed as to what they're going into. We can't just have a fucking cliff without a sign. Yo, beware, there's a cliff ahead. There's a cliff over there. Be careful. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to put this sign up so that you can see, yo, there's a cliff. You don't gotta go over it. In fact, let me show you. There's another place over here. It's fun. Come on, we're chilling. So that's what we're getting into. That's what we're working on. Back on track. Mental clarity. Now this is a big one. This is a big one for me, and a big one that I value, because I think I mentioned this before. If you've seen the other videos, one of the biggest reasons that I was able to get myself off of looking at porn is because I wanted to tap into the spiritual realm. I wanted to master this lucid dreaming. I wanted to really figure out what is my potential. What can I tap into with my bodies? What am I gonna be like when my chakras and everything are all balanced in a line? How am I gonna feel then? And it was like, yo, first thing you gotta do, you gotta drop this porn stuff. Otherwise, you're not gonna go too far. And if you do go far, if you do open your stuff up, you're gonna just have a negative experience because you have all this extra stuff attached to you. So the mental clarity, I said all that to say this. I had a hard time, and I still have a hard time, difficult time, meditating, quieting my mind. And I've always been like that. I've always been a very left brain, analytical, logical thinker. Um, I noticed when I stopped watching porn, I didn't have to have that fight in my head where the antagonist, a la that voice in your head, or one of the voices in your head that's kind of just trying to undermine you. He didn't have as much material to work with, if you know what I'm saying. I would look in the mirror and be like, oh, you're nothing. And then I have to tell myself, no, you're everything. Those kind of things stopped happening. I was able to walk through grocery stores and not look at every thick ass or pair of breasts that walk by. I used to play games when I would go through. I have a girlfriend. I've had a girlfriend for 3 years, so it's like, why? I would play these games where I would go into a place and I'd be like, all right, let me see if I can find the finest girl, and that's one that I want to sleep with. And I'd make my choice, and if I saw another one, I'd be like, oh, well, too bad. Silly shit. I could be doing so many different. Like if I had the mental agility to do that, what else could I be doing while I'm walking around? All kinds of stuff. You're gonna have a mental clarity when it comes to your dreams. You're not gonna be dreaming about the same lustful scenarios or dreams of embarrassment or humiliation. You're not gonna have those. I would have all types of silly dreams. I had dreams when my family would see me wear in dresses. I had dreams of porn, watching porn. I had dreams where I was caught watching porn, and then in my lucid dreams, it was kind of a test because in about half the lucid dreams that I had, there wasn't an opportunity for me to look at pornography or to engage in it in some capacity, and I would pass it up. Not all the time. I remember one specific lucid dream. I was in the school. I realized I was lucid. I was trying to get out of the school, and this girl with a fat ass, walked by, and I followed her. I woke up shortly after that. I didn't become lucid. That was like my test. I failed that time, but as I moved further and further along, and I had more and more time underneath my belt, free of pornography, those instances are decreasing. Okay, those instances are decreasing. And it's a strange thing to talk about mental clarity, because if you do have this porn addiction, especially if you're into like this, like I said, the not the vanilla type of porn, but like the loser, the sissy, all of that, bi confusion, all that stuff, then you're pretty far down, like the meta denial. You're pretty far down the fucking abyss, so to say. So you've been in it for a while. You don't know. People don't really just start off looking at that shit. It would disgust them. So I said all that to say this. It's safe to assume that you've had a certain mindset for probably years. And over that time, it's really easy to forget who you are. It's really easy to forget that, hey, I didn't always feel weak and depleted of energy and shitty all the time. You get used to operating at low capacity. And a really good way to realize that is if you find yourself thinking, oh wow, I had a really good day today. No, it's like, wow, I feel really good today, or I had a lot of energy. As opposed to you have days where, oh man, I don't know, I just don't have that much energy today. Something's awful for me. Something's not balanced. I wonder what's going on. It's subtle, but it's a difference between your equilibrium's up here as opposed to it's down here. If you're always down here, if you're always down in the dumps, so to say, then when you do go back to where your normal place was, you feel as though, oh wow, you know, I feel really, really good. This is great. But you forgot that that's how you used to always feel. You used to always feel good. You used to always, and I'm not saying that you were happy all the time. I'm saying there was a general spark and energy to you. All right, I know that was true for me, and I was never the super loud life of the party, but I was generally a happy person. And then there was a while where I was just kind of like, I was in this I don't know what the word is, this haze, or this brain fog that people talk about. I was in this haze, and if you're in there for long enough, you forget. You know, you just start. It's just like you got shit in your room. If it's in there day in and day out, you're just gonna stop smelling it. Just like if you're in this haze, you're gonna forget about it. And then when something snaps you out of it, when you go over to someone's house, you're like, oh wow, this house smells good. It's like, this house doesn't smell good. There's just no shit around. This is how a house should smell. And that's how your mind should be. It shouldn't be constantly cluttered with thoughts of like lustful thoughts or just negative thinking. It shouldn't be like that. That's a program that you've picked up along the way looking at this pornography. And just like any program, you can delete it, get it the fuck out of there. All right. People with depression. This is much like people with depression. Is that you get so used to being in this depressed state that you forget what it's like to feel normal. And when you do feel normal, you feel like you think that you're feeling really good, but you're just feeling normal. But your normal has become your really good, and your feeling bad has become your normal. So I need to get like a whiteboard or something so I can start drawing this to help people who are visual learners. I hope that you guys understand what I'm saying. And yeah, that's something that you will definitely notice, and it's one of the more beautiful aspects of it, because that frees you up so much. It's like everybody, whether it's porn, whether you're worrying about Trump, or whether you're worrying about your kids or the weather, there's so much stuff that we're constantly bombarded with. It's not normal. Well, I shouldn't say it's normal. It's not healthy to constantly have this chattering, especially the negative chittering, the negative chattering, and immediately judging, putting things on people. That's what porn does. You see somebody, or you see a woman, and you look at her and she's like, well, she doesn't have triple D titties, and she hasn't done 50,000 squats or gotten butt injections, so she's not attractive, or she's not worth your time. It's like, man, you're playing yourself. Okay, you're playing yourself. Segueing into that, when you do stop looking at porn, and it does come time, you want to talk to a woman, you will have more. It's another one of these unquantifiable things, like energy, willpower. But there's something there that you're gonna have this confidence that you didn't have before, because you can't lie to yourself, not forever. You can't lie to yourself. And women are way more intuitive than men are. Way more intuitive. And that's one of the highest forms of intelligence. That and creativity. But women are way more intuitive than men. They can sense if things are off. They can definitely sense if things are off. At some point, I do want to do like a spin-off off of this topic and just talk about, once you're done looking at porn and you do want to find a partner, ways you can go around that. Because I did have a lot of experience in just like day game and just social dynamics and stuff, behavioral analysis. But yeah, that's another topic for another day. Let's see, what's another benefit with pornography. You're gonna start to feel healthy. Skin's gonna clear up. Hair's gonna looking more crisp. And all this just goes back to you not constantly releasing your energy, so your body's able to focus on other things. You're going to have more energy if you go to the gym, if you're running, working on whatever it is that your passion is. You're going to have more passion about it too. And after you get over that hump, because there is a hump, it's not all, oh, I'm done looking at porn, everything's going to be on the up. No, you're going to go funking down first. You're gonna have to like make a detour and go down into the depths before you can come back out. That's the hard part. That's the part. That's what causes people to relapse, because you stop looking at porn. It's like, you know, you kind of starving yourself out. You're starving yourself of pleasure, because other things are not gonna feel pleasurable to you. Like I think I said this before. It's like someone who eats candy all day, and then you give them some strawberries or some apples. They're like, yeah, this doesn't taste good. I don't like this. This is fucking apples and strawberries. This was candy for kids way back in the day. But you know, you're so tuned into this artificial stuff. The quote unquote real things don't do it for you. So that's another benefit too. Things that weren't pleasurable, or that used to be pleasurable for you, will become pleasurable again. Sex. Oh my gosh. I spend so much time masturbating prone and running these scripts and these programs through my mind when I was masturbating, that when I did start to have sex again, I could feel like I could feel my dick, which is like the skin. I could feel the pulling and the tugging a lot more. I could feel everything. I mean, I just even like appreciated, you know, my girlfriend's curves and stuff more. Like I said, going back to doing the dishes, being creative, stuff like this. I wouldn't have been able to do this if I was still doing porn. One, I would have been a hypocrite, and two, I just wouldn't have the energy. And that's one of those things I was saying. Like, I've been meaning to do this for a long time. I just kept relapsing, and I was like, well, how am I going to do this if I'd be a fraud? But even then, even if I were to start to do it, I wouldn't have the energy. I had to wait a while before I felt like I was good and I was stable to the point where I was like, okay, now we can start doing it. Things are gonna start to feel better for you again. Okay, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If you do have any sort of porn-induced erectile dysfunction symptoms or PIDE, that stuff will go away. You will heal. You will be able to reroute yourself. Because remember, this is the natural way of things. It's where your body wants, how your body wants to do things. All right. It just has to work a while to redo what it is that you did in the first place. Damn, it got dark fast. Yeah, it has to do that to redo what you did in the first place. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be wrapping this one up pretty soon. It's like 32 minutes. Just remember, man, that you are the one who's gonna save yourself. Okay? Nobody else is gonna save you. It's not gonna be your therapist or your friends, your girlfriend, me. No one is gonna save you. You save yourself, because you're the one who makes the choice ultimately. We can stack all of the knowledge and stuff all on top of you, but until you make the choice to do it, it's not worth anything. You have to make the choice to save yourself, and you will. Because what's the alternative? The alternative is oblivion, obliteration, a life wasted, a life spent half mass, half energy, and you're not going to do that. You got too many good things that are in store for you to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna close this one out here. There's a bunch of other things I feel like I didn't hit, and I'm gonna go over my list and stuff, and then probably make a part 2 to this one. Anyways, you guys, wholeness, and just remember that you're not the only one who's going through this. A lot of people going through this. There might not be that many views and stuff on the videos, but hey, as long as you just got one other person with you, that's me, then that's good enough. What did they say? So we're more than one are gathered in my name, there will be power, or something like that, some shit. But all right, y'all. Again, if you got any comments or construction or criticism or anything, just leave a comment. Let me know. I'd like to see where other people are at on this journey. If you got certain things you want me to talk about, just let me know. You know, I'm very honest. I'll let you know how it is that I got through things, the depths of my depravity, and so that you can really appreciate the rise. All right.